Hello Internet, this is Maria from Gloriana Spirits. You are getting me in all of my just woke up glory today, because I feel like shit. I'm sorry that I'm eating right now, but if I don't eat right now, it won't be pretty, and I want to just get this over with, because I feel terrible. I may do a vlog on it later this week, just I don't feel good right now, so this is the 4th episode for the 4th week of the YouTube Pagan Challenge, and this is going to be quite a more personal episode, which fits that you guys get to see me not all kind of more dressed up for this. Because it is way more personal. It's my take on the Wheel of the Year and the holidays I celebrate. That's kind of what I'm taking it as. Well, like others I've seen. And it's kind of an interesting collection I have. Let's start with what is related to the Wheel of the Year, and then I'll go from closest to now and through the year. So my take on the Wheel of the Year, minus Samhain, I don't really celebrate the crosses, but I do celebrate at least kind of the solstices and the equinoxes, simply because those are periods of change throughout the world. Mavon, which is what I've always called the autumn equinox, simply because I was introduced to it as that first, and I like it. So, is one that I don't celebrate ginormously, simply because Samhain's so close. And I'm sorry. If I don't eat something now, I'm gonna die. Samhain and Yule are two different sides of the same coin to me. Even though they are so close, I see them more as the two main times where the veil between the worlds is thinnest and the strangest stuff happens on. Considering one of my previous jobs took place on Yule and then the 24th and 25th, and one of my more recent jobs took place on the 24th, that entire season is just, and they were similar jobs too. That kind of season isn't my favorite, but at the same time I like spending time with family, and you'll find that a lot of the holidays I celebrate are spend time with family holidays. So besides that, okay, we'll go on to February, because I love February. And two of them are actually on the same day, which is great because I love both of them so much, and they're both very family holidays. But let's start with what's coming up next, and that is Valentine's Day. And though it is a Christian holiday, I don't really see it as that, considering it was moved from the actual Saint Valentine's Day to that day, so love celebrations. The guy got his head chopped off. He's not the biggest thing you'd say for love. At least I think he got his head chopped off. I have decently good memory with those kind of things. I was just having a conversation with one of my Catholic friends who is also a polytheist, but also Catholic. It's a thing, and I've met a ton of people like that. And we were talking about Greek mythology, and he named something, and he asked a question about it, and I immediately had the answer. I looked it up still to see if I was right, because I can't entirely trust my memory. I had it mostly right. Then I was able to like name the 3 Greek fates like off the top of my head and got them pretty damn close. The only one I mispronounced was laauess. Sorry, laauess, you're one of my favorites. But that's just simply because for a while I pronounced the CH. Because I don't understand why we anglify it as the C, why we romanize it with the CH. It's so annoying. But Valentine's Day is the day for my guys. It is for them to be, it's kind of for me to treat them. Sometimes I'll add new stuff to their altar. Usually temporary stuff like food. However, since I live in a place with an ant problem, I don't think there's going to be food, much food, if any, this Valentine's Day. Might do chocolate. A couple chocolates that I'll later eat. But Valentine's Day, definitely a smaller holiday just for me and the guys. The layers of the sun that just came through. I'm gonna move my pudding, because I have pudding that I'm gonna eat after the cereal. So much I need to take another bite. I can feel my blood sugar just slowly descending into the world of the dead. I have hypoglycemia. I'm not hungry right now, but if I don't eat, it will not be pretty. Especially since it's already been acting up. After Valentine's Day, there is Eucharistia, which is a Roman holiday that is about family love and wonderful stuff like that. And also, Fastlaven. I'm going to say Fastlaven. I don't think it's entirely right. I don't know if I'm going to be celebrating Fastlaven very often. But for people who don't know, Fastlaven is, I feel like I should bring it up and Google it. But from what I remember, there's some stuff. It's a kids' holiday. It's very much a kids' holiday. And that's why I like it. And I was introduced to it a couple years back, but now it's kind of more important because of the kind of spirit kids in my life. And the first main thing is the kids try to wake you up, and if you don't wake up, after the way I was introduced to it, they hit you a number of times, and until you wake up, and the more each time they hit you is another bun that you have to make them, and they're these really cool sweet buns, and that's going to be their breakfast. And then there's also a thing where it's like they have a barrel full of candy, and the first person to knock out the thing that makes the candy becomes the queen of cats, and the person who knocks the last board of the barrel off of the things, is the king of cats for the day. And it's that kind of holiday. The main reason I do celebrate it with the kids is because of Loki. I haven't really talked about Loki, but Loki was one of the first spirits who showed up in my life. And he's kind of like a dad to me. And right now he's watching the kids for me. Up until a later date, which is on this, which I celebrated anyway, and it was the best time to do it. They left on Mischief Night last year, and they'll be back at the date I'll talk about later. But so Eucharistia and Fastlaven are both on February 22nd, which is pretty cool. Because I like to kind of keep the tradition alive for the kids. Even though one of them can't even eat buns right now, and one of them is going up in age. He's so cute. But I do kind of want to keep that alive. I love kids. I love kids. Alright, so those are those. Next up is April, which is definitely more to do with my job, aka my actual path. 1 second. So sorry. And it's the Wednesday on the last week of April. In this case, this year it's going to be the 27th of April. And it is Administrative Professional Day, which everyone just kind of looked at me and went, yes, you need to be celebrating that, taking the day off for that. And I'm just like, you guys are already making me take the day off because you're afraid paperwork is going to kill me. That's another thing, and it has to do with my various illness stuff. But so that's April. Don't really have anything May, except sometimes May Day. I kind of like May Day. And then in June, it's Midsummer. But then July, there's one that I celebrate that isn't Western, or for that matter, my Eastern. Sometimes we call ourselves Eastern just because I go to a native school. I'm native. The West is terrifying sometimes, especially West America. But it has to do kind of with a different path that I sometimes deal with. And it's Japanese, and it's pretty awesome. And that's on July 7th if you want to look it up and be like, oh, hey, it's this thing, I wonder why. Just know that it has to do with my path. I also do Mother's Day and Father's Day, which are different times throughout the year. I don't feel like looking up the dates right now. And then, don't really have anything in August, especially because that's back to school season. Though I may be going to Wales this next school year, so that's not going to be until late September, or early September. I think it's like mid-September. My life. And then September stuff. September 1st is the thing I was talking about earlier with the kids, and that's the Greek New Year, which, yeah, I enjoy it because I connect a lot with Greece. A lot of my family spirits are Greek, Olympian type spirits. Ma Celine, don't tell her I call her Ma, she'd kill me. We don't have the best relationship, but she very much is a mother spirit to me. September 13th is another Roman holiday, and it is the Gods Banquet. And that's another actual, like, business one. And I'm trying to keep up a list for it, and it's just going to be for the gods and spirits that helped me throughout the year, up till that point, and I do kind of a food thing for them. Or, if I'm back here, it will not be so much a food thing as a little bauble thing that everything ends up buried. Then I also celebrate September 29th, that's for one of the guys, and also his brothers, and it has to do with Catholicism. I do quite a bit related to Catholicism, mainly because I've been friends with a lot of Catholics throughout my life. I enjoy the pomp and circumstance. I'm not Catholic. I've never been Catholic. I was raised Protestant. But I like Catholics more than anyone else, I've found. There's one Catholic that I've absolutely hated in my life, and that's because he was a little bitch. I have the Catholic friend here at school who is an older man who does tutoring and stuff. And we verbally spar quite a bit about different stuff. And he's also a polytheist, which is interesting. So after September, we get back into more of the Wheel of the Year stuff. like the autumn equinox, which is after the gods' banquet and before September 29th. And then we have Samhain on the 31st of October. November, I try to spend some time around Thanksgiving here in the US with some of my spirits. Because a lot of the holidays I do celebrate are very, they're very family oriented. And so that's pretty important. Yuletide season is very important. Sometimes I've been known to end up doing Three Kings Day. Though that's definitely more of a childish thing. Love Three Kings Day. But that's the majority of what it is. This went a little longer than I thought, because I think, well, no, it went about as long as I thought it would. Actually, it's lower than I thought. But those are about what I'm doing, so. And it has a pretty good calendar. I have months where I don't have to do much, and it's great. So I think I'm also going to do week 5 while I'm sitting around doing things. Alright, thanks.